Alright. Thought I'd come on and have a little chat. A little chatteroo about things to do with psychology and sort of mental thoughts. Especially with how we're going into this phase of a bull run. You know, this is probably one of the most exciting times coming up for us, and you know, there's so many opportunities. There are so many opportunities to get into certain coins, to get into certain projects or things of that nature, trading, like I do majority of the time now, to get my profits and gains on things, and of course my spot positions. But this is a time, Q4 2024 going into 2025, we are anticipating a massive bull run coming up in the next 12 months. We're in a sort of position where we're waiting for it to come, but we're trying to also try and find ways to capitalize to be more profitable in the meantime. We can just hold our positions and just wait for those gains to come to us to then eventually sell, to then do whatever you want to DCA back into a bear market or whatever. Take some profits, take the profits and spend it on life stuff, or whatever, you know, whatever your goals are going forward after this bull run. But you know, this is when you think about how unique of a position we are in, it's pretty damn unique. Like if for example 15-20 years ago, we wouldn't be anticipating a bull run in the crypto market, is what I mean. So it's a very, very unique situation we are now in, and we've sort of adapted our lives into. Because for me, when I think about going forward with my, you know, financial situation in life, I don't really think anymore about how my job is going to do that for me. It's a very unique situation. Because yes, I have a job. I've had some issues with work in the last half year or so, but I still have my work that I do. But more so now, I've got that, of course, just like the everyday person does. But now my mind is way more just focused mentally on crypto and going forward with that, of course, right? That's what's going to save people's situations that they're in. There are people who don't have much money when it comes to crypto, and don't have, you know, good sources of income in the real world, the human world, as I like to call it. And when you're in that sort of situation, you are sort of relying on crypto to be that sort of solution and savior for your future. And then when you put that really into perspective, that makes your mind really go into full time mentally going into crypto, right? Because for me, that's what even when I'm working, I have got two screens. When I'm working, my other screen is dedicated to crypto. Not that that's a big deal. I can have it on my phone or whatever, like anyone else. But it's on my main monitor now. It is crypto, and my second screen, my primary screen, is crypto. It's slowly moving towards crypto. Is the message I'm getting into this video. Not just because of the monitor, but it just in terms of what I've just outlined, the sort of going forward, the sort of future aspects of my financial situation. I'm sure many of you are as well. That's why you're maybe watching this. And if you're not crypto related and you somehow stumbled upon this, then I'm sure it applies to many aspects of life as well, where you've gone into certain things, you've got your work, you've got or whatever, and you found a different method to acquire financial gain, or it doesn't even have to be in finance, it can just be in something else. You've devoted a certain amount of time to a specific sort of area of your life for the last, say, decade or 2 decades, right? Say, for example, you have a close group of friends that you met from a certain situation. Say it was from a social gathering, and then you were involved in a group because of that other social gathering, or you met online from a game, or it happens a lot. I'm in social groups where I've met people online because of games, and I'm still in those social groups. And then there was a time where I spent more time with those social groups from a certain game, and now I don't. And that sort of has fizzled out. That's phased away, dissolved almost. And that's the same when it comes to with crypto. For me, that's my next thing, and it's probably your next thing if you're watching this. And one of the topics I wanted to go over today was the topic of overthinking, and how overthinking can kind of destroy your plans that you had. So what I mean by that is, say you're holding a really good, decent bag of, I don't know, let's say Solana, for example, and you see opportunities on the charts for other coins or more riskier plays, more returns, right? Because Solana's probably gonna 3 to 5x, probably. Who can really say, right? And then you see things like Pepe. You see other layer ones like Avalanche that can easily do a 10x. It can reach its all-time high easily, just from a 5x from now, I think it is. And that's going to happen. And of course, Bitcoin. If you're heavy into Bitcoin and you think to yourself, I should be more diversified into more riskier returns, high risk, high reward, like Pepe as an example, then why wouldn't I put more funds from my Bitcoin to Pepe to get more funds next year when I sell Pepe to then go and reinvest back into Bitcoin? You know, those sorts of things come into your mind a lot. And that is what is called overthinking. So you really need to sort of have a set plan when it comes to where your allocations are. That's why people do sort of like, what is it? Like 50% Bitcoin, 25%, and then 25%. But everyone is different. Everyone's financial circumstance is massively different. Like, not everyone should be applying the same thesis when it comes to what you should be doing, because it's subjective to your goals. Because it all is. There's no matter of fact of how you should be doing one thing or another. You shouldn't just be going by certain YouTubers' rules because they say it works, meaning the percentage wise of allocations towards certain safer cryptos. Yes, of course, that's because it's a safer play, but you don't necessarily need to follow it because they are doing it. That's my point. You don't need to follow YouTubers and what they're doing, their strategies. That's what they're doing. They're just telling you what they're doing. They're allocating what they're allocating and where. When I talk about overthinking, it's because I do that myself sometimes. I've got my spot positions, and then when I do my trades, my leverage trading, low leverage trading, low risk, then I use those profits, and I chop and change what I do with the profits. I really do chop and change, and my mind changes all the time with what I do with those profits. Sometimes I roll it into the next trade, but more often than not at the moment, I've just been using those profits to buy more of what I've already got, my spot positions. And I think that's what's the best approach for me personally at the moment, because I need to increase those bags to then sell them at the right time to gain that massive reward, right? That's what I've sort of concluded with my strategy with that. And then once I've gained those gains of, say, a 10x on a Pepe next year, then I can use that, 20 grand to use for leverage trading, as an example. That's an example. I haven't obviously decided that yet. And of course, buy the dips. I actually want to get into Bitcoin once the bear market starts, because it's Bitcoin. Get a good position in Bitcoin. Prepare for the long-term crypto future and the long-term crypto prices. In that regard, anyway, for Bitcoin. Obviously not now. I'm not in. I've got like 5% in Bitcoin because a 2x is 120 grand. That's nothing. I don't need that. I need a 10x in my situation, right? And just so do you. We need 10x's. We're not about 2x's here. This is why we do leverage trading, because we want to amplify our gains, right? You don't go into something just a 2x in crypto. That is stale and boring. But people have been in Bitcoin since 15k, 20k, obviously way lower. Since the last 6-7 years, people have been in Bitcoin. Committed to it, buying it, DCAing, buying the bear market. So people are very, very heavy into Bitcoin, and they're up a 10x already. You're doing fantastic. But me, I came in late, of course, to crypto. I didn't really pay attention to that sort of mindset when I first started. I wasn't really looking to invest for, to make gains. I was more how to make money for today rather than for the future. That's how I sort of came into it. I think how I first came into it was how to make money online for free, right? I'm sure one or two of you have as well, if I get more than 5 viewers. So there's that aspect to it where I wasn't really thinking what I should be doing. And I think over the last 5 years or so, I've really just upped my knowledge when it comes to crypto. I really think I have. I've lost a lot during that time. But I do really think that I'm a lot wiser in my decision making. That's for sure. Good God. I'm a lot more disciplined. I'm way more patient now. What else? I think because when I was in those DeFi projects, you get those fixed returns, so therefore patience isn't really involved. You are expecting a return each day. And if that doesn't come, then you get really impatient, right? And that's when the rugs happen. But ever since I've learnt to leverage trade, DCA, all the good stuff that can make you money by yourself. I'm not saying leverage trading is safe or what you should be doing, because you really need to know what you should to do leverage trading. You need to know how to do it properly. There are many different aspects to leverage trading. There's so many things you should have in your arsenal before you even make a trade. Just knowledge and how to know when to take a trade. There's so many aspects to leverage trading. Yeah, this is a sort of video as well where I wanted just to go over. We're in that sort of time of period. I did a video last year when you just meet up with people, or it's that time of year, getting to that time of year where social gatherings happen, unfortunately. But it's something you just have to do. Whether it's Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's, whatever you celebrate, but it's going to happen. And when you meet people that you haven't seen in months or whatever, and you say, "Oh, how's it going? Well, how's work?" And you just think, "Oh, work. Oh yeah, I have a job. I forgot about that." That sort of mentality where you talk about the work rather than what you're actually passionate about. Because crypto's not adopted yet. It's not, even now, even with the ETFs and all that. when you go out and you meet people and you say, I'm, and they say, what's new with you, or whatever, the, the, the normal talk, then you say, if you even mention crypto, they just roll their eyes and think, oh, don't get scammed, that sort of thing. Then that there's no, we're not there yet. We're still not there. It's not there. And when it comes into the headlines again, people will start believing, and then the bear market will happen again probably, and then people will, they run away and they hibernate back until the next bull run, right? That's kind of how it is. But yeah, going into meeting people and social gatherings, family events, friends, you don't really want to talk about it. You really want to keep this close to your chest. Well, this is what I'm in my perspective anyway. I really want to keep these things close to my chest. Like, no one knows I leverage trade. No one knows I buy Solana. No one knows I buy Pepe and Avalanche. No one knows how to even set up a wallet. So why would I bother talking about it when they don't know anything about it? And that's not an insult. It's more of a, what's the point in me bothering? You're just going to roll your eyes, and you're just going to say, don't get scammed. And you're just going to say, oh, I've heard of Ethereum. Is that the other one? And then you're going to get that sort of talk. So why bother? Why bother? If you've got a solution to your problems in the future, in the next 5 to 10 years, or going forward in general, just keep it to yourself. Don't go and say, this is what you should be doing, this is how I'm doing it, this is what's working for me. You can make money next year if you invest now. At Christmas time, when the prices of Bitcoin might be at 75k, 80k, Christmas time, it's going to be too late to advise them and say, this is what you should be doing. Friendly advice doesn't have to. You can do financial advice to friends, I guess, but you don't give them a referral link. You go and say, this is what you're doing, this is what I'm doing. You're giving that sort of advice because you're talking to them. Very standard stuff. What is the point in even bothering? I'm not going to bother. I'm going to say, yeah, job's going well, new clients, same clients, yawn, and then talk about something else. Whilst when I go to the bar to buy the next drink, I'll be checking the price of Solana. That's how it works. I go on my TradingView app and I just, because my mind is focused on it. Not like I need to be looking at it all the time, but everyone does it anyway. And it's not like you should be caring about what they think about you in terms of, oh, don't get scammed, you're crazy for doing it. That's overthinking it as well. That's kind of the topic of today, overthinking. But it's not that necessarily you're overthinking it. You're kind of, you already know, you already have predetermined what they will say in response to you saying you do cryptocurrency, you do trading, you buy the dip, right? You already know full well the response you will get. So yeah, that's more or less what I wanted to go over today. Just being prepared for next year, being in certain coins that you should really be in, that are gonna massively amplify your gains. I mean, my holdings of Pepe. Yes, I'm talking about Pepe because Pepe is my riskiest play. In the space of 3 days, my position went up 30%. I was up significantly, and then what happened with the dip the last week with the news and stuff, the war shit, then the balance, then your portfolio goes down. But I wasn't going to sell anyway, so I wasn't bothered about the decline in the balance, the portfolio. No, I'm not selling. I'm only DCAing still. I'm still buying every single token I'm in. until next year, until late next year, because that's when it's going to be the potential top. And I'm obviously going to sell I'm going to try and sell early, just so I don't have that rush to sell within 12 hours when everyone's selling, or less, because it comes down very quickly. Just like these dips we see on Bitcoin. Imagine meme coins in 2025. So that's why I think overthinking is a danger, but it's very useful to do when you overthink, because you're being very analytical and you're sort of critiquing your decisions live in real time. In real time, you are critiquing your decisions. That's what overthinking is when it comes to trading in crypto. Because if you are overinvested in certain things, like I mentioned earlier, Bitcoin, then you really do. And like even me with Solana, I think to myself, God damn, man, I'm in Solana, quite heavy in my position. So I do think to myself, of course, I need to use that and not just wait. But then you think to yourself after, I don't need to do that, because I'm going to eventually change my mind again and then buy back into Solana, potentially at a higher price, because Solana is going to be the fastest mover. We all know that. But we have these thoughts and we analyze our decisions all the time. I'm sure you're in like certain cryptos where you think, this is going to do well next year, but what can I do now to make money today and profit today, to then sell next week that new one, to buy back in on what I sold to get into that new one, to then go back into with a higher bag, right? A bigger bag. But when you do that, it's being extremely risky, because you're gambling. You are essentially guessing what the outcome is going to be. That's more or less what it is. Because yes, you can have fundamentals coming, and you can know about a project. You can know when something's going to launch, to buy into it early, to then sell once that happens. But if you're just guessing, then there's no point. Just hold. That's what I do. But that's what I tell myself to do, because I know I get tempted on swapping in and out of different cryptos. But now, because I've got more of a system in play, and I wrote it down, and I advise you do it as well. Write it down on your notes, wherever you want to write it, wherever you look at notes, right? Mine's on my phone. Write down what coins you are in, what you are in, and write down the date, meaning the year that you're going to sell, or the month and the year you're going to sell, and then read that every other day or every day, and then have another note saying DCA X% of profits into, or X% of income into these cryptos, right? When you make the profit, or when you have the funds to DCA from wherever you get your money from. So that's what I do to keep myself like fixated and concentrated in that method, because I know if I deviate away from it, that I know I'm gonna fuck it up. I just know, because that's the challenge. The challenge for you is to sit on your bum and your hands. Do that. That is the challenge. I think so anyway. That's the challenge. I mean, it's risky to, when, say for example, Pepe is up 9% on the day. It's tempting, I mean, to then sell, to then buy the dip of Solana. Say Solana's down 3% on the day, to then buy in Solana from the profits, or the entirety of the bag, then keep rotating it. You can do that. That's what trading is: buy low, sell high. But the risk involved in that is losing your original position when you sold. So there are so many factors when it comes into that. Very, very challenging when it comes to crypto. Very, very difficult to sit on your hands with that. Yeah. Overthinking. overthinking rather than having a dedicated, concrete, and concentrated plan. Consistent gains, consistent DCAing into certain cryptos that you know will do well next year. That's all you need to do. It's like when you see a stream like Cryptos Are Us and he says hodl and DCA, that's all you need to do. He's right. It's very basic stuff. It's not genius stuff really. It's so simple. Just buy when you can and then sell when it's mooned. That's it. Like, it doesn't take a genius to know these things. But applying it is another matter. That's a decision. That's a concentrated, focused, and dedicated decision you need to keep doing or do. If you can only do, say, if you can only buy once, then buy once, right? And then hold. But of course, if you need to sell for life stuff, then that's obvious. But when it comes to investing in crypto, you should already be in a position where you're not using those funds to need them back. You should have already just thrown the money in because it's available. It's what's the word? Disposable income. That's the word. Disposable funds you can just throw at things that you can invest in. Don't put in more than you can afford to lose, as they say. Right? That's it. There's nothing else to it. So, if you've watched my videos in the last few months, you know that what I do is just leverage to get my DCAs in. Well, that's what I'm doing now. Like I do say I'm going to build the account on leverage trading and get it to 10k, but in general, I would be doing that anyway by DCAing the profits into certain crypto. So that's what I'm doing, and that's how I'm using the funds. I'm using like $2,000 to make profits. I could maybe put more into that, like $3,000. Use that on trades to profit on, 1% and 2% on $2,000, $3,000. It's a nice amount. It may not be like a massive amount to you, but when it comes to DCAing and you do that like 4 or 5 times a day, 1% a day is 4 times a day, that adds up. And there are times when you're stuck in trades, yes, but ultimately you're building your bags to then, those bags eventually of course compound because of how the price goes up, because more money is going into those coins, right, when the price goes up. So your gains will come from them and multiply. So yeah, it's all about being patient, especially if you're stuck in a trade. That's why I recommend as well, if you are trading, to not put it all into one trade. Hold about half if you can, or more, way more actually. Experts say don't put more than 1% of your bag in, but that's for different sort of trading. That's for really high leverage trading. For me, low leverage trading with a decent position size is what I do, and it works for me. Different methods, right, work for different people. People that say put in 1%, their leverage is extremely high because they can afford to lose that, $15, for example. They can afford to lose that with their 90x leverage, right, or whatever. So bear that in mind. But for me, if I put in say $2,000 and it's a decent portion of my overall account or portfolio, you could say, then with a 3x leverage, I'm fine. I'm not going to get liquidated. Well, at least I hope not. But no, it's very, 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 very unlikely. Very unlikely. So yeah, this video has gone on for quite a while, so I think I'll wrap it up. That's my weekend video, because I enjoy talking, because it gets things off my chest and things I want to just express to people that may need a little, kick up the backside. General sort of mentality advice, you could say. Psychology is the word to use. I should use that more. Trading psychology. It's very, very useful to just write down things, stick to a plan, know what you're doing when you're going to sell, and just stick to it. Consistency, dedication, and time, and patience. Those are the things that are really that's all you need. That's all you need. Those things. All right. Well, that's it. Let me know what you think about this. Things that are coming up, coming up to the festive time when you meet people. Is that already on your mind? It's just an annoying thing we have to just get through. Get it over with so we can get to 2025. No one likes this time of year when it's what's coming anyway. Well, I don't. I like to get back to what I do and make the gains in crypto. Well, I want to get it over with so I can get back to this. I'm going to go now. So like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.